show cars on display at SEMA are oftentimes bright colors and kind of in your face. But we found a part of the main hall where the Jet Performance booth is surrounded in black. And in the middle is this unbelievably sinister black Charger. Sean, what is this car?
This is a 70 Dodge Charger that we had built for our company SpeedKore out of Port Washington, Wisconsin, and it's our debut and our shining star right now for SEMA 2015.
Well, the car's incredible, and there's a lot going on here that I think you need to take a bunch of time to really get into.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. The whole concept of the car was kind of to build along the original proportions of a 70 Dodge Charger and influence what was already there in a functional aspect. You know, we beefed up and made the gas cap better, but we made it a lot smoother in approach. We redid the whole grille and redesigned that and remachined that. But then again, it's functional because we couldn't do the original one because of how big the turbos were. Speaking of which, the turbos are massive with that 16 horsepower Mercury twin turbo motor. So
yeah, well, before we get into the engine, because that's special,
yeah,
I'm impressed with the way you kept those proportions, because I think it's kind of easy on a car like this to detract from it, because this basic design is awesome.
It is. I mean, the 70 Charger from factory has a lot of presence. It's a very iconic design. It's Coke bottle proportion. I didn't really want to change that unless it was a functional aspect of the car. A lot of guys these days are doing vents for the sake of just putting it there, and I didn't really want to subscribe to that theory. It's definitely form follows function and fun in this matter.
And I see this trick carbon fiber fade in the front. Are we suggesting that there's a lot of real carbon in this car?
There's a lot of real carbon in the car. We definitely have a in-house carbon fiber capabilities. We wanted to illustrate that, and there was a situation came up where some of our team wanted to leave it raw carbon, some of it wanted to paint the whole car black, but we had to meet in the middle, so we came up with an idea to have our head painter, Bill, to fade the whole black into the carbon so we get the best of both worlds. And so it also looks pretty stylish, and the car looks, you know, fast while it's standing still.
I think that works.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we hadn't seen it before either, so it was kind of a treat. And you know, a lot of the trend right now is stripes and matte stripes and stuff like that. And with this car, we took a totally different approach. When I first told people, hey, we're going to do a fade on the car, it was like 90s sport truck kind of airbrush paint.
Right.
And I'm like, no, it's going to look very subtle, and it's actually, we've got a good response off of it, and I think it sets off the car really nicely. So
it really does.
Thank you.
Now, let's go under the hood.
Okay.
What is this thing?
This is a 9-liter Mercury Racing twin turbo motor. You know, hot rodding's all about breaking rules and not having to follow conformity, and this is one of them. So
9 liters is how many cubes?
You know, I'd have to ask my engineering team offhand.
I mean, a 7 liter is a 427.
I can tell you right now, the size of it's way too many. So,
which to me, I think, you know, the purists will say it's not a Chrysler Hemi. However, the Hemi was just the biggest, baddest thing they could stuff in there, and that's kind of what you did.
Exactly, yeah. The Hemi is the baddest thing you can stuff in there, and I think we went a little step further by putting a Mercury motor in it.
Yeah. So this isn't a Mercury Grand Marquis motor. This is a full-on high-performance Mercury
Mercury Racing offshore racing motor, yeah. So, I mean, when you start this thing up, it sounds like a 426 Hemi that's actually been tuned to a little bit more exotic into supercar matter. It's kind of a half supercar tone, half muscle car tone, which I think fits the car beautifully in terms of note, exhaust note. Yeah.
And one thing I noticed is, you know, talking to you, the designer, the turbos and the induction system aren't just stuffed under the hood. I mean, there's a whole aesthetic.
Yeah, there's definitely a whole aesthetic how we had the headers come into the front and kind of hang the twin turbos off to the front. We definitely wanted that to be the show centerpiece of the whole engine bay, that's for sure. That was definitely part of the concept when it came to the engine, yeah.
Now, do we know any power levels of what we're talking about with this thing?
Horsepower is 1,650. Yeah.
1650.
1650. It's a lot.
So I think one of the cool things that maybe afforded you some freedom is that in this application, we're not trying to squeeze every possible ounce of horsepower out of it. So you had a little freedom to design where you wanted things to go. Maybe you give up a few ponies here and there, but at 1650 in a street car, it doesn't really matter.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what's the rest of the driveline? Transmission, rear end, what are we looking at? It's an automatic car, is it a manual?
No, it's a manual. It's got a Tremec transmission. It sits on a full custom chassis. It's got bare brakes for stopping, and you know, needs it with all that horsepower. So
what'd you do inside the car?
Inside of the car, we actually played up the carbon fiber theme as well. We did full custom carbon fiber door panels and interior panels, which we thought was pretty new. And then we had Gabe's Custom Interiors out of San Bernardino, California. They went and wrapped it. We have a wide variety of custom billet machine parts as well for the details, custom dash, custom seats. One of the key things about the seats is there's actually pleats, but it's a molded pleat in the sense that there's no stitching around it. So a lot of people look at it and it's just formed in the way of a pleat. So that was kind of tricked too, and it's really subtle. Yeah.
And then the rear of the car has just a few tweaks in design as well.
Rear of the car has a few tweaks. We used the late model Challenger taillight, but we also did a custom trim and bezel ring around it, and did custom badge to kind of brand the car, which is the name of it's Tantrum. So if you look on the rear of that, you'll see the logo is illustrated on that. Yeah.
Well, Sean, it is awesome.
Thank you.
You guys did a heck of a job.
Appreciate it.
The team deserves all the accolades.
Absolutely.
And the name, I think, is appropriate because people are having tantrums all around here,
Exactly.
trying to get close and get a picture of it. And we
Exactly.
thank you for the time to show
Well,
it.
I thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.